I don't know what that is. Anyway, man, let me get that out of there. Coach. Oh, yeah. We got a big show tonight, man. A big show. And we on time tonight, fellas. We on time tonight.
Hey, look, I'm getting on Mr. Campbell. I'm getting on the Bishop. Yes. Because we getting in the thick of this thing, baby.
Hey, I'd like to welcome everybody to HBCU Coaches Corner. My name is Rocky, and I have my co-host with me, Mr. Stephen Campbell. And we have our featured host tonight, none other than the SWAC legend himself, the TSU alum, none other than, and also LC Cole's little brother, none other than Johnnie Cole.
What's up, man? We got a great... Hype it up, baby, hype it up.
Yes,
well, we
sir.
got a great show tonight, man. I tell you what, our special guest tonight, man, he brought nightmares, nightmares, And I seen this young man develop. I seen him he was coming to age of the Steve McNair. After Steve McNair left, and guys, we always talk about, especially Campbell, that when we were coming up through the conference, and there always was one or two superstar guys at the quarterback position. But this guy's name, of course, he's number one in the magazine. He's number one in your heart. Mr. Bruce Eugene, captain senior citizen, accounting for 56 touchdowns with only 5 interceptions. He finished the Grambling State as the all-time leading passer and career leader. Second all-time passing career leader in the SWAC with 13,530 yards, 140 total touchdowns. And I think he was a part of about 3 or 4 championships, and 2 or 3 of them was national championships. My guy, my friend, the Grambling State Tiger. And guys, what I found out is this guy was supposed to go to Texas Southern. And we screwed it up again, Bishop. TSU, we were supposed to get KJ, then went to Prairie View, right? Now this guy, we missed on this guy as well. And we also missed on Tremaine Jackson as the head coach, Chennis Berry as the head coach. What is wrong with my school, man?
Oh man, that's crazy. And it's true. I was gonna go to Texas Southern. Cortez Hankton, who I grew up with, like, we were real close, like family. Tyrone Jones, Roney, the slot receiver and everything, all of us, we had planned on coming. I had planned on coming when I talked to Tez. Tez took me on my visit. He took me on my visit. I'll never forget, when I flew, that was my first time flying. And I flew into Houston. We stayed over there by the Six Flags, the hotel over by the Six Flags.
Yeah.
We stayed over there. And we went to it was a road basketball game at Prairie View. I'll never forget.
Right.
Road basketball game at Prairie View. And we went to the game, but we didn't have tickets to get in. So we had to find a way to get in the game. And, at Prairie View have that little dome. So Cortez called a couple of guys that was already in there and told them just hit the door and run. And when they hit the door, we ran on in there. And I never forget, that was rowdy. That's when I saw the real rivalry of the Texas Southern Prairie View, because in the basketball game, it was crazy. Fights going on, everything else. I was like, I need to be a part of this. Wow. And honestly, if they would have just been patient, they would have had me. But, at that time, when they brought you on trips, they tried to get you to commit before you left. And the one thing my mom told me, don't sign nothing and don't agree to anything. So I kept saying, Coach, I got to wait till I get home and talk to my mom and everything. And when I left, they had put in the newspaper. I'll never forget, they put in the newspaper that I had committed. And once he did that, I just felt like they betrayed me. They didn't want to be patient and really. And I said, all right, I'm not going there. But my mama was going. That was my only scholarship offer.
Right. I think what it was, Bill Thomas.
Y'all had Lamb. I think Lamb was the quarterback.
Yeah. Y'all had a lot. We got a lot of kids from New Orleans that year.
Absolutely. Y'all had my boy Oliver Celestine.
Yeah.
Oh, Coach, I'm telling you, it was already. That was guys I grew up with playing against in youth ball and everything else. So they had already told me how it was. It was a 5-hour drive from New Orleans. A quick 45-minute flight from New Orleans. So it was like, everything was set up. But, they messed it up. And I ended up in Grambling, and the rest is history.
Yeah. Man, Coach, you won so many championships. I got to ask this question. Have weight ever been your issue? Because the way you move and the way you throw that damn ball, your hands must be a glove.
I was always a big kid growing up. Even at Burt, being like 10 pounds something. I've always been that big kid who was able to do the things skill players did. I never get. I had a youth football story where in youth football, when you're the biggest kid, the first place they do is put you on the line. So they had me playing left tackle, and I was playing defensive end. And they used to tell me defensive end, go up 3 yards, and then turn inside. But I used to look at all the skill players, they catching the passes, they throwing the ball, and I was able to do all that. So finally, one game, they let me return the kickoff. And I never forget, I was coach.
You returned the kickoff?
Coach, they let me return the kickoff. We were playing a little all-star game. And I catch it. And I ran a straight line. And that kid hit me so hard. I'm talking about so hard. Before I even hit the ground and cut my wind, I was saying I quit. I'm like, I quit. They kept saying, I can't hear you. So when I finally caught my breath, I quit right there on the spot. Beginning of the game, I quit. Took my equipment off and everything. This is not for me. Wow. And I became a basketball player until I got to high school.
Now coming out of high school, then Doug them snuck behind us and got you to come to Grambling, and they got you to walk on.
Melvin Spears, man.
But then, shoot, I know Melvin is a recruiting genius. You know what I'm saying? And being able to have those two coach you, man, had to be a special time and a special moment. How much do they even help you today?
Hey, do you recognize that guy?
There you go, right there. There you go. What's up, Coach?
You're muted, Coach.
You're muted. Well, before he come, Bruce, I had to bring him on, man. That's my guy, and he used to put them points up, and he used to throw that coat on like Eddie Robertson and walk up and down that damn sideline, man, and y'all used to kick tail.
Coach, let me tell you something. I am who I am because of that man right there. You know what I'm saying? He instilled the belief in me. He instilled the belief in me before I believed in myself. Yeah. You know what I'm saying? I never forget our first conversation when he came to recruit me in high school. He was going to recruit Linares L. Page from Carver High School. And their head coach told him, he was a Grambling alum. He said, man, look, Linares is probably going to go to Tulane, but if you're looking for a quarterback, you need to go across town to Cohen High School. And we had a basketball game that day. And Coach Spears came in there, and we sat in the library, and we just started talking football. And he was just amazed at how much football I knew, from calling plays. Because I called my own plays in high school.
Oh, wow.
So it was just amazing. He was just throwing coverages, and we were just talking, going back and forth. And then I told him, hey, I got a basketball game tonight. And he came to the basketball game. I was the starting point guard. I was a big guy. Like I told you, I've always been big. I was the starting point guard.
Right.
And that night I finished with like 22 points, like 18 assists.
Wow.
And after the game, I told Coach, I said, look, if everything goes planned, I'm coming. I had to take the ACT test. I took the ACT test. I passed. And, he talked to my mom, and he told my mom, he said, we don't have a scholarship for him. but I can promise you, I'm going to take care of him like he's my own, and he will graduate. He said, that's the word I can give you. And I was cool with that. As long as I had an opportunity, I told him, I said, Coach, it don't matter who I'm going against. I'm going to beat out whoever. And when I got there, I felt like I was the best. I felt like I should have been starting my freshman year.
Yeah, I read that.
Yeah, but he had to wait. He had to wait his turn.
Coach, let me tell you something.
We had Randy Hines, Mr. Randy Hines.
No, Johnny, we had
a number of other guys there.
We had 3 juniors, 3 freshmen. We had Randy Hines on the coach. I know their names because Randy Hines was the starter. Well, he was the backup at first. We had Michael Mays. We had J.J. Brown, who just came from Blinn. We had Jarzowski Lee. We had Aaron Thomas. And then there was me. The other 5 was on scholarship. Me, I was a walk-on. So I told the other 2 freshmen, y'all gonna be broke by next year because I'm about to get somebody money. I'm telling you.
Coach, the strange thing about that is that I had an opportunity to go over and watch Bruce in a basketball game. I never saw him play football. He was shooting 3-pointers like they were layups. And he had his coach who played for the Raiders. We called him Country.
James Country Warren.
James Country Warren, they call him Country. And he swore he could do all the things that he did. When I picked up the tape, the rest was history. And certainly he had an opportunity that he was going to go to Texas Southern. I told his mother that I didn't have one for him, but at the end of the day, it all worked out in his favor because I knew once I got him up there in God's country, the rest was history.
Yeah. And it's just so funny that this conference missed Bruce, and that was one of the things that I talked to him about. We need more Bruces, we need more Spears in our conference to make sure that the connection. So Bruce, you set out your first year, then you got in there, and then they took you back out, and then I think Melvin took over as head coach.
So
my
freshman year, I redshirted, but what I did was, me and Coach Spears, every day I sat in his office every day. I watched every film that they had of Lionel Hayes playing quarterback. I watched every film. I can tell you verbatim the calls, the plays, the coverages, what he should have checked to. Like, that's what I watched my freshman year. I didn't party. Well, I did party, but I didn't. Let me say this. I partied too much. I didn't go to class much my freshman year. But the turning point was, like I said, watching film with Coach. And when I got that phone call, I had a 1.71 GPA. Coach sat me down. Coach Williams called my mom. And I went to Coach Williams' office. He had my mom on 3-way. And she just blasted me.
Wow.
So that's when it was like, you know what? This student athlete thing is really true. Right. You know what I'm saying? Like, as much as you want to be an athletic student, that student athlete portion was true. I locked it in my books, and not only my books, I ended up having a 3.5 the second half of the year. We played the spring game, and Coach and I, when we talked, we kept saying that the spring game was my Super Bowl. That was my time to come out and really showcase what I've learned from the whole fall season and what I've learned from that spring. And I went in that spring game, and I think I finished like 8 for 11 with like 160 yards, like 3 touchdown passes. And everybody else, they went to telling Coach it's a quarterback controversy. I told Coach Williams, I told Coach Williams, you can't redshirt me no more.
Mel.
Hey, Coach.
When did you realize that you had a GM? Because you ended up taking the job over, or you already had decided, well, when I do take this job over, this is my guy.
No, we had already figured out that Bruce was the guy, because what used to happen is that all the scouts used to come over to Grambling. And when they came down, Bruce were the guy that was throwing for those guys during the passing drills, because, back then, our guys who were not eligible for the combine could not throw. And we always used Bruce. But I'm going to tell you a story about Bruce. We would leave Bruce, and Bruce would be sitting on the wall. I don't care what time we came back to the campus. It could be 4 o'clock, 5 o'clock in the morning. And Oh no, Bruce didn't travel the first year.
I
We
didn't,
stayed at home.
travel. So
He didn't
I would
travel.
be there when they leave. I would be there when they leave to sing the school song, and then everybody would get on the bus. And I
Yeah.
would go to my dorm because my dorm was right at the bottom of the stadium. You know, when you turn into Robert Stadium, that first dorm, that was my dorm, North Adam. So I was singing the school song like I'm traveling, and then go to my dorm. And then when they get back, regardless of what time it was, I was standing up there waiting for them to get off the bus, helping them unload their stuff.
At 4 o'clock in the morning, a number of times, he's sitting on that wall when we turn that corner.
Wow.
I'm like, and we had not and then the spring game came along, but after doing research on him, after just staying with him that whole year that we had him as a red shirt, the bottom line is that, man, we spend 6-7 hours a day. He's there every time he wasn't in class, he was sitting there in that office over there. And one thing about it, you couldn't take from him. The one thing about it, he could spin it. He could definitely throw it all over the place. And
what was so much about Grambling, Bruce, or any school that you would have chose? What was that in you to say, man, I got to be there when they leave. I got to be where when I got to let them know that this is my job or this is the place I want to be.
So Grambling for me was home because the neighborhood I grew up in, the St. Thomas Project, all the people that went to college from my project went to Grambling. Okay. Like my uncle played in the band, DJ Jubilee, all of us was from the same project. Lawrence Dorsey, Sean Jordan, so I grew up watching Grambling. Like when Grambling came on TV, when Georgia played, I used to think Georgia was Grambling with the red and everything else. I didn't know it was Georgia first until until I saw it, because Grambling had the red, black, and gold come Thanksgiving weekend. So when I got the opportunity to go, the first thing I was like, well, this is home for me. This is home for me. And then once I got up there, it was just all about leaving my mark. Like I said, coaches we always talk about greatness, and what that G stands for. So when you get up there, if your mindset is not wrapped around being one of the greats, not like being the guy, not just one of the guys, then you at the wrong place. And that was it was for me. Like I looked at all the records, I looked at all the quarterbacks that came before me, and I said, I want to be the best one that leave here.
Yeah. Cortez Hangston, if people don't know, he's one of the top assistant football coaches. He's at Georgia now, right?
He at LSU. He's the
LSU. He's back at
LSU.
Yeah. And but he's been all those places. He played at Texas Southern along with all the rest of the guys. So if they don't, and the guy that's next to him, Bruce Eugene, is of course Melvin Spears. He don't need no introductory, but he's one national championship, SWAC championship. The thing about it, Bruce and Melvin, y'all on the shelf when it comes to coaching in our conference. And, that brings definitely a question mark up to me, because you can see all the brilliance from both of you guys. Of course, me and Melvin worked together and played against each other. Bruce, where you at, or how you feel about our conference, and, have our conference done you right?
First, I'm going to say this. When I watch the conference now, I feel like they don't have the big name guys, or they don't have them high profile guys how we had back then. When I played, you had myself, you had Robert Kent, you had Tavares Jackson,
Darnell Kennedy.
You had Darnell Kennedy, at Texas Southern, you had what's his name? You had Lamb, but then you had the other kid, the other guy after Lamb.
Yeah.
Every school had their guy. You had T.C. Taylor at Jackson before Robert Kent came in and took over. Right. So we don't have those high profile guys, and we're not showing enough I would say diversity. Everybody now, it's a copycat league. Back then, like you and I talked about, everybody just wanted to line up the 4 wide receivers and throw the ball. Like, we're not utilizing tight ends. We're not using multiple formations. We're not attacking the defense. Everybody want to go to this RPO system. So now our quarterbacks, I feel like, is not being developed. That RPO system, I feel like is one of those gimmick type systems, because if the quarterback don't read the right guy, then guess what? He's screwed. we're not teaching the 3-step, the 5-step, plant and throw the ball. Like, you don't see any more of those guys. My guy was, I sent my quarterback there, Noah Bowden, who I sent to Grambling and went to Southern. Now he's at Edward Waters, and he's one of the top quarterbacks in Black College right now. Right. So like nobody, I don't feel like they're teaching those things to even get our guys a chance to play at the next level.
Yeah. Now tell us about your high school, where you are now. And I should have asked that first. Where you are now. I know you're coaching now, and where you are. I know you started off in New York. What is that?
I'm at Locust Grove High School now.
Okay.
The Grove now. That's where I'm at. So I'm at Locust Grove High School in Locust Grove, Georgia. Gary Fisher's our head coach. Gary Fisher played at Bowling Green, and he used to be the D coordinator at Tennessee State when Reed was there, when Coach Reed was there.
Okay.
We in our worst to first phase. When Coach was there, he was 0-10 4 years ago. Then he went 1-9. Last year we went 5-5. Now we're sitting here at 5-1, and we're in first place. We're leading the region. So, the whole turnaround rebuild has happened, and we got some players, Coach. I got the top quarterback in Georgia. And again, I've been sending my quarterback to Coach. Will tell you, I send him the highlight film and everything else, Coach. When I teach it.
Hey, no doubt about it. You can play it with the best of them, but also, too, you got an outstanding son down there that has probably about 25 scholarships, who's a big guy as well.
Coach, he's at 43 now, Coach.
But I do think the opportunity for a number of our guys that have participated in our conference are really not fair if they really don't get an opportunity. And we got a number of guys that are doing outstanding, a number of individuals that have won state championships, starting with Bryce Brown. We got Parker High School. All our guys have won state championships and have outstanding players. So it's no reason why we shouldn't have great players in our league when in fact that we got our own. But we have to be a little smarter about the process. In order for you to understand what your legacy is, to understand what greatness comes from, you have to sometimes pull from within of individuals that have been there. It is no reason why our greats, quarterbacks, or guys that have played in our league, not at least have an opportunity. A prime example is T.C. Taylor. T.C. Taylor is doing an excellent job at Jackson State, but he's been given an opportunity. So we need to take these blinders off and understand that the Southwestern Athletic Conference is as good as it gets. If you look at the players that have participated there over the years, you understand the greatness of what goes on, the heritage, not only the heritage, but the opportunity to go and compete at a very, very high level. And I always used to tell Bruce, when I put him up for the Heisman Trophy, why not you? He said, but Coach, I say, no, why not you? Because you're going to have numbers, you'll have all the things, but the most important thing about that whole process was every time they talked about those Heisman Trophy winners, those Heisman Trophy guys, candidates, they had to talk about Bruce Eugene from Grambling State University. That was the intent.
Right. Hey, Coach, can I just say something real quick?
Yeah.
What Coach Spears said. Coach, listen, I'm a 100% agree. But you know what the biggest problem is? And Coach, you're going to understand it, and Coach Eugene, Bruce, you're going to understand this too. If I did a pop quiz of all 12 of the ADs of the SWAC, I guarantee you, and I'm not being disrespectful, over half of them would not know the greatness of Bruce Eugene. That's the problem. That's the problem.
I agree with you. I agree with you 100%.
We have athletes. So when you said what you said, it doesn't mean anything because they have no idea of the history and understanding of the two people that hey, listen, I know a lot of ADs, not being disrespectful, but I'm a SWAC guy. I'll get into my part when it's my time. But I just wanted to see how important that is when you don't have ADs who even understand the greatness of our conference. If you go and say, I'm not going to say a school A, hey, Bruce Eugene's available, and they'll be like, who? Well, he didn't play in the NFL. He's not Coach Prime. He's not this guy. So when you say T.C. Taylor, well, when you got Anthony Robinson, who understands the history of Jackson State, you see how that kind of works? So
that's right.
But here's the thing with T.C. Taylor. He got an opportunity to at least be on the staff.
And that,
he got an opportunity to be on the staff. They put him at tight end coach. Remember, he went to coordinator, then he went back to tight end coach. But he's got an opportunity. My thing is that we're not getting him opportunity. This man I'm looking at, Bruce Eugene, of course, Melvin Spears, should be on somebody's staff today. You know what I mean? They contributed to the country, to the conference.
So let me mention this, and I'm not gonna say a school name like we say, School A. All I said was put me on the staff. You can give me a stipend. Just put me on the staff just to get in. Just to get in.
Yeah.
That's all I want to do. Just get me in.
But I'm gonna piggyback a little bit off the other guy. I agree with him wholeheartedly. These ADs and the individuals that we have in our administration really have not done their homework to understand the significance of what all these guys have played a major part. You know, we had a guy down at our place that nobody thought that we were going to get that made a perfect score on the SAT, a guy by the name of Clyde Edwards, who eventually became the all-time leading pass catcher, and Coach Williams swore we were not going to get him to come to Grambling. But anyway, he ended up coming to Grambling. He's a coordinator over in Texas as well. You know, the things is that we got guys that are very smart. We got kids that have done what they need to do. We got former players that have done what they need to do. Certainly they should be afforded an opportunity to just participate, not only be the head coach, but slot themselves somewhere where you can bring a person in to get them ready to be the next guy in line, because right now we losing the battle simply because of the fact they don't understand the history.
Two guys, I interviewed, Johnny, I interviewed with the two previous coaches at Grambling. I interviewed with Hugh Jackson and I interviewed with Roderick Fives, right? And in both of those interviews, I had like 3.5, 4 hour. That's how long the interview was. I think both of them were shocked by how much football I knew. You know, to the point where, you know, of course, you know, Coach Fives went with the guy from California. I forgot his name. The guy from the junior college that came down for the 1 year and everything else. And then Hugh decided to go in a different direction. So Hugh and I just connected Hugh's now at Georgia State. Right. So I brought my high school team to the 7-on-7 tournament. So once we got there and we talked, Hugh sat there and watched every game my high school team played and watched me call the plays and things like that. And the one thing he told me afterwards, he said, I regret not hiring that guy. Yeah, you know, yeah. So in that moment, you know how it is. I don't want to hear that. Like you're telling me this now, but then it did give me some satisfaction. Like, yeah, you missed out, because guess what? What I'm doing with these high school kids, I could have been doing in college. Yeah. You know, the one thing I had great teachers. I had great teachers that taught me. You know, like I could tell you, Coach Spears right now, he and I would get on the phone right now watching these college games. Hey, did you see such and such? They did this. They should have did this. Why did he go in this direction? His eyes was in the wrong place. His feet were not, like, we still do this right now today. Conversation. You know,
Coach Cole. Let me say, I know you say I belong on that sideline, but let me tell you, you're the legend yourself. We've had some major league battles. One of the things that you guys have always set the standards. Now, one of the things that I don't know if everybody know this right offhand, at Tennessee State, you guys were the only school that have gone undefeated in a PWI conference. So when you start talking about whether or not you can coach football, certainly you guys can. And given the right opportunity, we all could be back in and pitching against each other, because you know it was something, boy, when the gunslinger showed up.
Yeah.
Hey guys, I'm gonna step in here. Hey coach, let me step in here right quick, and so I can thank everybody who has been watching on the Off Script channel. I want to thank you guys who've been watching on it. We're going to suspend the stream on the Off Script channel, but you can catch the home of the HBCU Coaches Corner, which is on the Rocky Miller channel. I want to thank y'all for going on. Coach Cole, you can go ahead and continue the conversation, sir.
What are some of the numbers, Bruce, and some of the things that you see? Because you like me, Bruce. I can't stand being one dimensional. You know, I remember Bruce. We playing y'all line up and damn double tight, damn no back, and run damn your ass up on
and run the quarterback counter.
I was like, look at these mugs here. Hey, Rocky, they line up no back, tight ends, and you know, 2 off, and they run quarterback counter. I said,
Bulldog. That was our Bulldog formation.
Bulldog formation.
Overtight 3 receivers, and we ran quarterback counter.
Yeah. Yeah, we battled. We played them twice that year. They came to Alabama State. I think we beat y'all 45-38, something like that.
That was Darnell Kennedy. I tripped on fourth. Remember, I tripped on 4th and 4.
Yeah.
Y'all went two man. They part like the Red Sea. And I got too happy and fell like a yard short.
Yeah. Then we come and play them in the SWAC championship and lose the same way. We fumbled the ball at the 2-yard line going in. They had just threw a bomb to your man. He laid flat out in the end zone.
Ellis Spears. He dove for it, stretched out in the back of the end zone.
Now, was you on the sideline watching us as we run the triple reverse on y'all?
Oh, yeah. We were there. We were there. Y'all ran the triple reverse in the Crampton Bowl with that big old crown in the middle of the field. We was there.
Coach, there's never been the only play that I keep in my mind all the time, every time I see you, is that during triple reverse. You know, nobody runs a triple reverse. And matter of fact, he ran it. They were in the race. It was 20 yards in. Yeah. He knew we had some of the best defenders at that time. All those boys could just flat out run. They was chasing the ball all over the place. And when he pitched it to that guy and they ran, they flipped it once. That's right. Tossed it and flipped it and went back the other way. And
he
when it came back to that sideline, I said, I cannot
back to the boundary.
These guys just ran a triple reverse for a touchdown.
And you know what's crazy? You couldn't see their bodies on the other side. All you see is their heads over there. You see everybody head and hands go up in the air from the touchdown with that crown at the Crampton Bowl.
Yeah. But anyway, I appreciate it.
Hey, Coach.
Go ahead.
No, I was going to ask Coach Eugene a second.
Coach, y'all got it.
No. Y'all go. Coach, you're going to get yours in. I just wanted to ask, you're one of those players that among fans, you're almost like a fan favorite. Like you can't have a conversation about the greats in the SWAC without bringing up your name, Bruce Eugene. I'm a guy that just started watching SWAC and HBCU football seriously since Prime came into the HBCU space. So I don't know all the rich history and tradition of the players and the pageantry or whatever. I want to ask you, if I were to drive on Gramblin's campus, how would I know Bruce Eugene was a great player at Grambling State University?
Great question.
Well, first of all, as of now, I know if you're in the football facility, I got plaques everywhere. If you used to go upstairs in the football facility, I got plaques everywhere for most passing yards in season, leaders, things like that. But around the campus, it's crazy because they don't really showcase it. They don't really showcase it. And I had the same question when I went back because when I went back I got inducted into the Hall of Fame at the school. That was a question I asked, why we don't showcase more of our greats around campus, either flyers, posters, have them on flag, things like that. We don't do that. I don't know why.
Well, the reason why I asked that, Coach, is because I'm here in Waco, Texas, the home of Baylor University.
Yeah.
And you can be driving on I-35 if you've been in Texas, going toward between Dallas and Austin, and you can look over at McLean Stadium and you'll see a mural, big as forever, of
Robert Griffin.
Yeah. You'll drive if you further walk on the grounds of the campus, you'll be able to see a statue prominently positioned as the students walk over from the campus over to the stadium. I just think that's a great representation of how to represent a guy who's truly been legendary at their school. Grambling has had so many greats, from guys like I looked up to when I was a kid, Everson Walls, Doug Williams, just so many people. And I always wonder, how would I know these guys were Gramblingites if I just drove up on campus? And a lot of times I get the same answer that you get, is that unless you went into a football facility or you wouldn't know. So I'll ask Coach Cole and even Mr. Campbell, who is a HBCU historian, Is this the case at most schools, Mr. Campbell, about representing and showing the greats who have represented the school in such an admirable fashion?
I'm gonna let Coach call. Coach, I'm gonna let you answer that first.
I think that we haven't grasped the love of football and what it means to HBCU campuses. There's always a fight of, is it the band? Is it the football program? I just don't think that we've jumped in with 2 feet, 4 hands ahead to say that we gonna promote the biggest ambassador of any college campus, whether it's PWI, whether it's HBCU. We don't grasp that. We don't grasp that all the way through. You know what I mean? We're still, and I've talked to coaches all the time, all over America. Mel can tell you what I'm saying, is that we still have problems on compliance issues, getting the team ready to go into the first game of the season. Still having problems with, is the dormitory ready? We still having problems with, is it study table? We hadn't grasped that of what the football program can do. It's the first sport of the year. It can push the school off to a good start. When you look at those great schools, your Florida States, your Notre Dames, your Miamis, your Gramblin's, which I thought was great. It's kind of fell off a little bit, but they promote those legendary players and coaches that have came through the school. You have to do that because with even us, and we all HBCU graduates, right? Me and Campbell for sure. We could just rattle off the top players that when we were there as students, when we were there as alumni, that because that we understand that that's important about HBCUs. This man, both of these men, and Melvin played at Alcorn State doing some great years. You know, myself, that we have to start cherishing those moments and bringing those moments to life and not just putting them somewhere in a box and not bringing them out. And I think that's the biggest thing that bothers me as an HBCU graduate, to say that we got to start saying, if we're going to have a football program and a basketball program, let's jump 2 feet in. I don't want to hear about they don't promote money. The what they bring, the advertisement, the being the ambassador, the being on national television is enough. That every week that you're representing the schools.
I agree wholeheartedly, but I'm gonna go back to the conversation he talked about earlier. It first starts with our administration. Secondly, it starts with our AD understanding what our great legacy is. I think it's a travesty that when you go to a place like Grambling State University, you don't have a statue of Doug Williams, who's the very first guy to give all these young boys an opportunity to participate at a very, very high level. Secondly, you go to Alcorn State, where Steve McNair was as good as it gets. You don't have a statue of him as well. When you talk about our legends and the guys that are particularly Hall of Famers and Walter Payton and all the great guys that have participated there, that's really is your recruiting tool. Your recruiting falls off when, in fact, that you can't bring a kid in and tell them that these individuals participated here as well. But one of the other things is that they do it at Alabama better than anybody else. They got all those Heisman trophies sitting there in the case when you walk in. And that depicts what this gentleman is talking about, whether or not we're highlighting the individuals that are participating there at a high level. It's really not about the individual itself. It's about the entire university, making sure that the university understands the significance of bringing outstanding players there, outstanding students there as well. So when you don't have those things there, that puts you behind the 8 ball. And certainly, I think at some juncture, we're going to have to make a move on that, because it's almost crazy that those guys are not in. Matter of fact, Steve McNair and Doug Williams should be in the Hall of Fame, and the Pro Football Hall of Fame. So we got some things going on, but the guy sitting there with you, I used to call him round mound or touchdown. There's no reason why he's not in the Black College Hall of Fame. So, you know, I've been pushing Ty Miller and that whole group to get him in. You know, I know you have to wait your turn, but when you're talking about a guy that had a legendary career, who really did some things that nobody else done. You know, he finished 5th in the Heisman Trophy. Doug finished 3rd or 4th, and then Walter Payton finished in the Heisman Trophy in our school. So
Steve McNair finished up there as well.
Yeah, he was there as well. I think he finished third as well.
Yeah.
So all those guys need to be represented at a high level and in a way that not only that it's not all about HBCUs, it's about being able to see excellence across the board for those guys to participate.
Yeah. Bruce, let me ask you, man, just, I know how I feel, being coming from Texas Southern and sometimes don't feel love. How you feel about your choice you made to Grambling? And, do you go back for homecoming sometimes? I know you coach. I know that makes it tough sometimes. How much do you go back to campus, and just how you feel about where you are now in your career?
Like Grambling to me it always would be, you know what I'm saying? Like if you cut me open, I bleed black and gold. You know what I'm saying? But in terms of me going back, I haven't been back since my kid Noah Bowden started his first game there. And I flew in to see him play, but I don't go back often. You don't feel the love from them. Just think about it in terms of this. I'm one of the best to come through there, and I don't even get phone calls answered when I'm trying to send you a recruit, when I'm trying to send you kids, when I'm trying to send you the best of the best. Like prime example, my son is 6'3", 275. Moves like he's 220. Right? He got 40-something offers and everything else. And yeah, with this day and age, the way black college is, he probably won't go there, with this whole NIL thing, but you still can reach out to him. You still can, try to establish that relationship and everything else. Grambling, nobody's really reaching out to him. They offered him because he's my son, but nobody tried to develop a relationship with him. Like I told you, I have a 6'5", 295 Nigerian left tackle. I sent them him. Nobody called, but guess what? All the Power 4 schools are now saying, "Hey, Bruce, we want him, my quarterback." So like I said, I got tons of kids, tons of players that I've been trying to send to black college. My quarterback dad wants him at a black college.
Hey,
he went to Park Atlanta game and heard the band and just saw just the environment of that and was like, "This is what I want my son in." But
Coach Eugene.
Yeah, Coach.
If we had any sense in our school, somebody been already put you on the sideline, because there's no way your son would be playing football and I'm the coach at any institution and I'm not having you on that staff, because you're going to have to put up or shut up. Either he coming with you or you're going to go back where you are. That's the name of the game right there. So I don't understand why, we got a number of guys. George Guidry kids are down at Tulane because we don't offer them scholarships. So we've had a number of guys. We got a number of outstanding players down at Nacar in New Orleans, our players. And the thing is that they don't even offer the kids a scholarship, so I don't even understand. But anyway, in closing, I sure appreciate you guys having me, and certainly been a great opportunity. Good seeing you, Bruce. Keep doing what you're doing. Know. And Coach Cole,
yes,
it's just a matter of time before we get on them. So, and everybody else, I appreciate what you guys doing. Keep up the good work, and God bless you, and I look forward to it.
Hey, thank you, Coach Spears, for coming on.
Yeah, but
I thought you would like that treat, Bruce.
Oh, you already know, man. That's like a dad to me, man. Like
I
told you,
Bruce, man, let me see your hand, man. Put your hand up at the screen. Good Lord, I see why you throw the ball like a baseball. Did you play baseball?
I played in Little League, but that was really it. Once I got to high school, I was basketball and football. I thought I was gonna be the next Khalid El-Amin, for UConn, the big point guard that was handling the ball and shooting it. But, once I got on the football field and started throwing it around, I'm like, oh, maybe I can do this. And like I said, Coach Spears breathed life into you. Anybody that's been – y'all just got a glimpse of it, Rocky and what's your name again?
Mr. Campbell.
Mr. Campbell. Y'all just got a glimpse of it in that interview. If you were ever in Coach Melvin Spears' presence, Coach Cole will tell you that it's just like by the time you finish something, you feel like you got smarter or you just learned something new that you've never known before. But my communication skills, my football savvy, You know, like that guy there, man. I believed I had belief in myself, but not like what he had in me. You know, in those days when I got down and wasn't right, just a simple conversation, you know, and we were back to our regular schedule programming. You know,
Coach,
so even right now today, even with me coaching high school, he calls every week. Hey,
I'm
how
gonna
you
put you on
doing?
the spot
What's
again,
going on? You
because
know what I'm saying? How's the
I
son?
really think that there should be a spot for you in our conference, if not the head coach or coordinator or something. Why Bruce Eugene? Why should I give my keys to Bruce Eugene to run my house?
But first of all, when it comes in the conference, I know the conference. I know the conference. I played in. I excelled in it. You know, so I know the conference. Secondly, if you look at my resume, you know, the body of work I've done, and not only that, people not talking about when I went to the combine, I had the highest score on the Wonderlic test. So you're not talking to someone that can't pick up things fast or don't know how to explain it and everything else. I've sent quarterbacks to the conference. I've sent kids to the conference. You know, like I have some of the best players in the country. My son, which, you know, before we get off, I'll have him walk in here so you can see what I'm talking about. My son is pretty much built like me. Get on the basketball court, get you 30, can shoot the three and things like that. So, like I said, where I go, kids will follow. You know, I had one of the top 7-on-7 teams in the country. I have two of them now. I have New York Hustle that I started in New York, where they say, hey, kids don't play football in New York. And we traveled all over the country beating up on people. And now here in Georgia, I got Georgia Flame that I just started this year. And we got a chance to beat up on a lot of people. So I got kids that come with me. So why not me? Who else would it be?
Yeah.
You know, Coach Eugene, I want to talk to you about this because this is something I've criticized the SWAC for openly. Is and Coach Cole has too, and Mr. Campbell has made mention of it. Quarterback development in the SWAC in particular has been a real slow moving progress this past 5 years since I've been watching. If you've been paying attention to the conference, what has slowed down the progression of quarterbacks in this conference where each team is literally going through 3 quarterbacks a season and playing 3 different guys, where Coach Cole tells me that's not typically how they do it in the SWAC in the historically. But your guy Noah Bodden went through something where they were playing 3 or 4 guys during his career at both schools he went to in the SWAC. Can you point to 1 or 2 things that may be attributing to that situation or circumstance?
First of all, like you said, the teaching. Everybody wants to go to this RPO system. You know, nobody wants to teach how you read cover 2, cover 3, cover 4. Nobody's teaching that true development of reading coverages. Nobody wants to do that anymore. Everybody now would tell you, hey, read this outside linebacker. If he steps up in the run game, you pop it to where he at. You replace him and things like that. Nobody's teaching the old school, hey, 2 high safety. Hey, what are they doing? They split, you're in cover 2. They go straight back, you cover 4. If they come down, they cover in the slot, they expect a blitz. We got cover 0. Nobody's teaching that anymore. Nobody's teaching, okay, they roll this way, they roll to the right. All right, we got cloud coverage. He's squatting hard, we playing. They're not teaching it. So if you don't have anyone that can teach it, now guess what? They don't blame the coach. They blame the quarterback. Well, you can't blame him if he's not being taught. Because now, guess what? You take a lot of people taking their best athletes and put where? At the quarterback. And running what? Zone read.
RPO, yeah.
That's what they're doing. But back then when we played, guess what? Zone read wasn't a thing. I'm about to get
but I don't mean but we had that, but that wasn't the whole offense.
That wasn't the whole offense.
You know, we had some plays that okay, we're gonna throw off it, boom, but that wasn't the whole offense.
Nah.
The whole goddamn game.
Nah, like coach will tell you when they was at Alabama State, coach them had a fullback and a tight end. We had a fullback. We had a big running back, Brad Hill. You know, we had the tight ends, Gershon and Jesse. You know what I'm saying? Like we played with tight ends. We played with 3 receivers and a tight end. We played with 10 personnel sometimes. 10 personnel most of the time was used on 3rd and long. You ain't have many people playing 10 personnel until I came in, and like myself and Robert Kent. Then it was just like, you know what? We got 2 quarterbacks that can read coverages and throw it all over. Hey, let's hand them the ball. Let's get out their way.
Well, let me ask you this here.
One thing, let me say this. Just a statement. We had 3 quarterbacks, guys, that threw for 3,000 yards. All of them played in the SWAC. Him, Kent, and my guy, Donnell Kennedy. Yep. 3,000 yards, all 3 of them, Coach, at the same time.
Yeah.
But go ahead, Rob.
No, I was just going to ask you, we all, us lay people, non-coaches, we look at the game as catch, no catch, completion, incompletion, you know what I mean? Those kind of things. But what you're trying to make it seem like it's a function of reading the defense and making the throw.
It's the
right?
game within the game.
How important is for you? How important was being able to make the throw about properly reading the defense?
Well, that's with me. It was because I wasn't the fastest. You know, I was going to be the smartest. So that's why I prepared myself and studied. You know, reading defense, that was an art of mine. Coach will tell you, people used to try to blitz me, and I used to point to him and say, hey, he about to blitz. Come on, blitz. Hey, we're going to replace you. Going to go right there. I'm going to throw hot right there. Because that's how much film I watch. You know, that's how much I studied. That's how much I wanted to be great. Like, think about this, right? We're not preparing these quarterbacks to even go to the next level. We're not preparing. We're not even giving them a fair shot at trying to get drafted into the NFL because we're not teaching them the basics. We're not teaching them the basics. We're not teaching them the simple 2 high, read this, 3 high, read this, single high. We're not teaching them that.
You appreciate this, Bruce, Rocky, and we got the spread so much. We down 2 touchdowns and we got to throw, right? They still faking the ball, trying to throw. You see pressure coming. They still faking the ball and going through their RPO reads. When the safeties and stuff gonna tell you that they coming.
They coming.
When you see safeties in 9 and 10 yards, they bringing pressure.
Oh,
Get out of the play action and get ready to get the ball out your hand. Because you gotta block the uncovered guy coming in with the ball.
Every time, like right now, like I can tell you this, Rocky, Mr. Campbell, my quarterback right now in high school, Armand Parker, right? When we get off, I'll send you his highlight film. My kid can make every throw in the book. My kid would also tell you that when he think he did something great, I'm like, nah, you was late on it. He throws a touchdown pass, come to the sideline and celebrate, nah, you was late. We completed it, but against a better team, guess what? That's incompletion. Hey, look at your feet. You stepped outside. Okay, we completed the ball, but guess what? You stepped outside. That toe should have been pointing this way. That shoulder should have been this way. You know what I'm saying? Hey, you wouldn't this like I critique everything because guess what? If you tell me my goal in life is to eventually one day make it to the NFL or make it to college, then guess what? I'm going to have you prepared from day one because I don't want them to have no buts about you. I don't want them to say, hey, he ain't ready. I will have you ready to walk in from day one and be able to compete. That's how I treat all of my kids. That's how I treat my quarterback. Like I tell you about my son. My son is a D lineman. My son's a D lineman, but I can tell you this. My son will be ready to compete from day one when he walk in school in January. My quarterback will be ready to compete when he walk in any school in January because that's the way we teach over here at Locust Grove. We're not babying you. We're not giving you these baby steps. If you're going to play for us and you commit to this game, then guess what? We as coaches commit to you, and we're going to get you well prepared.
Yeah, that's one of the things that I always tell Rocky about back in the day when black quarterbacks was coming through. They would drop back, miss the primary guy, miss the secondary guy, then take off running, and they'll scramble all over. They'll score a touchdown, and nobody coaches them. So when they go to the next level, they think that's how the game is. But that ain't how the game. I mean, Bruce just explained it just as well. He's coaching every play, whether it's a good play, a touchdown or not. I mean, this guy, Bruce, and I'm not just saying that because you're on the show, is that's coaching. A good coach coaches every play, whether it's good or bad. And I want to commend you on that.
Yeah, I definitely appreciate it. Like I said, man, like with me is I take this coaching name because I had the Coach Spears that coached me every play. I had Coach Williams. Let me tell you something. Coach Williams used to get on me every play. Every play. So I was that kid who thought I did something right and then get to the sideline and say, hey, that ball was behind him. Hey, that ball was like this. Hey, it should have been over the shoulder. You left it inside. You left it this. But for me, at that point in time, I used to be like, man, he's always complaining. But what he was doing was he was preparing me. And I didn't understand it in that moment. And it wasn't until I got to the combine and started working out for those NFL teams, and you had to be all the way right. Because guess what? I didn't have those extra chances that those PWI kids were going to get. So my one chance I got, I had to take full advantage of it. So I had to be prepared. And we're not preparing our guys like that now. Think about it. Most of our kids, think about it. What's the last quarterback to have success in the NFL from the SWAC?
Yeah.
Tavares had some success.
Tavares Jackson. Yeah.
Think about it. Norfolk State had the quarterback last year. North Carolina Central had the kid Ricard. Yeah. Reshaw last year, right?
Yeah, Darius Richards,
right? He was supposed to be the next one from the conference, from the black college to get drafted and to have success. What happened?
He didn't get a shot.
He didn't get a shot because guess what? When you go and watch him, he was pretty much Tim Tebow. Quarterback counter, quarterback power, quarterback this. So he won football games and everything else, but how did it get him prepared for the next level? Like right now, I watch like I'm watching the kid at Alabama State, Bodie.
Yeah,
right?
Body. What you think about him, Coach?
Body. I like Body, but you can also see that Body has gotten better. Because you can see that the offensive coordinator at Alabama State is doing a great job of showcasing what Body can do, but also allowing Body to be Body. And he's gotten 10 times better when he's at Texas Southern. I think when he was at Texas Southern, I think they were afraid to coach him hard because they were afraid to lose him. And you still lost him because you didn't coach him.
Right. You're right on.
So it's like if these kids, if you're gonna recruit a kid, then you got to be prepared to coach a kid. If you're not prepared to coach him, then don't recruit him. Right. But right now, Body is like the standard of quarterback play in our conference. I see the kid from Alabama A&M just had a good game. You know what I'm saying? He had a good game.
Yeah, he wasn't the starter, Eugene. The starter,
yeah, I know.
But this the backup.
The backup, he came and had a good game. But when you look at quarterback play, like my beloved Grambling State Tigers, T said is struggling. He's struggling. You know why he's struggling? Because at Southern, he was a runner. He was a runner at Southern. Now he's at Grambling, and he's trying to become a passer, but he's making bad decisions because when he's supposed to run.
BS3 Network, changing the way you watch TV.